The recent launch of a national judicial policy by the National Judicial Council has continued to raise concerns. Critics have continued to question the ability of the judiciary to sanitize itself of corruption, especially in view of the recent arrest and detention of judges for breach of professional ethics. Besides making the case for the independence of the judiciary and also calling for an increase in the number of judges, the report stipulates that complaints made against any judicial officer shall not be leaked to the media. Our correspondent Amaka Okafo samples opinions of some Nigerians on the stance of the National Judicial Council.
The 7th and 8th of October 2016 will not be forgotten in a hurry by Nigerians. For the first time, serving judges and justices were arrested in different parts of the country with a failed attempt in Port Harcourt, the River State's capital. This move has continued to elicit different reactions from the judiciary and Nigerians alike. While some say the move is in order, others think otherwise. But on Monday, the 24th of October, the Chief Justice of Nigeria launched the National Judicial Policy and also set up a Judicial Ethics Committee. He explains the rationale behind the action and how it will help sanitize the judiciary.
The National Judicial Policy is born out of the realization that the Nigerian judiciary had been adversely affected by the absence of a clear, coordinated policy framework that defined its core morals, values, objects, and aspirations.
Besides making a case for the financial autonomy and independence of the judiciary as an arm of government, Section 2.2.4 of the policy says that complaints made against judicial officers shall not be disclosed to the media, while Section 2.2.7 says that where such a leak is occasioned by the complainant, all investigation into the complaint shall be halted and the leak investigated. And should the complainant be found culpable in the leak, such a complaint will be discarded. But in Section 2.2.9, the policy gave the NJC discretionary powers to decide if and when it will make the reports of its findings public.
What we have here predated this incident by several years. Now what people, the National Judicial Council, National Judicial Policy has now been inaugurated. They put 2 plus wrong 2 together and come to a conclusion. It is because the National Judicial Council is now jittery. It wants to cover up and makes it. No, it's not like that.
Reactions to this move vary. For this journalist, it is of no effect.
Let them keep their secret, but we as journalists will all go out and see how we can get them out for the public to see.
But not everyone feels this way.
What that is going to do is to not just reinforce the shroud of secrecy, but also to actually shield offending of officials and corrupt officials.
Others are of the opinion that there needs to be a balance to ensure not just the protection of the accused persons, but also carry Nigerians along.
One, the NJC has a responsibility to ensure that its processes are seen as transparent by Nigerians, to also show that it is working towards responding to the complaints of judicial corruption that is rife as we speak. But also it has a responsibility to protect the judges from frivolous, mischievous and malicious allegations.
Since you cannot stop the media from doing their job under Section 22, under the Freedom of Information Act, the best thing is to allow the process of allegations and defense, witnesses, and then investigation, and then judgment, and then verdict to pass through the normal procedure. You cannot tell the world, notwithstanding what you have been hearing, this is the correct position.
One thing everybody agrees on, however, is that the judiciary, as the foundation of a democratic society, needs to regain its pride of place in the hearts of Nigerians, a step that is needed now more than ever. Amaka Okafor, Channels Television News.
Joining me to take a further look at this issue is Mr. Ezenwa Wagu, a civil society activist. Good to have you join us on the news at 10. Quickly, going through all of those guidelines, what hits you the most?
Well, the most offensive really will be the one that, in my view, purports to censor the media in such a manner that, though it's not just unique to Judicial, the NJC, public institutions in Nigeria have made it a policy to continue to defend the Secret Act. Recently, if you remember, Suleiman, you recall that you were told that journalists will have to take passes to get to places of insurgency in the northeast and the rest of them, get clearance and all of those kind of things. So I think the agency is borrowing from that. But it offends public sensibilities for an institution that has come heavy under attack of having integrity deficit to continue to think that it can be opaque, it will not open up its processes for public scrutiny. If it continues that way, then you would really attract more attention, because once a system is opaque, then it behoves on the media to shine much more light in that area than ordinary. So I think that that particular section is shooting itself on the foot and will make Nigerians become more interested in what the NJC is doing.
You know, now the NJC, the spotlight is on the NJC all of a sudden, and for so many, they say this is not the first time petitions or complaints have been written to the NJC. Would you say that the action of the DSS or SSS, as some lawyers would want to call them now, have actually spurred the NJC into action?
It's not just the NJC. I think anybody that has something to do with judiciary in Nigeria, there's a consensus that there needs to be some sort of reforms within the judiciary. What the problem has been the way and manner the DSS carried out. That is what the contention has been. I think across board, both lawyers, litigants, and even the judges, some respected judges themselves, agree that there is need to shake up, not just NJC, but even the Nigerian Bar Association needs to take a little more interest in what happens within its fold. So I think that the action of the SSS spurred not just shook everybody up to come to terms with what we already know. What we already have, there is a lot of advocacy in that direction, saying, look, not just the judges, but even the whole paraphernalia of justice system in Nigeria needs a shake-up, and that's what the DSS has been able to help.
And we'll say that the shake-up is already on, but if we need to have the judiciary, which is a very critical arm of government, what do you expect us to be doing at this point in time, knowing full well that even now the media seem to have been barred from peeking, having a peek into what is happening there?
No, I don't think the media has been bad. I think what has been bad is public relations. Those who do public relations for NJC will have nothing to do. But the media, those who are journalists, who know that their work is also to report what NJC doesn't want them to report, will do their work. But beyond that, I think that civil society, the media, and concerned Nigerians have to take particular interest in that section, in that very arm of government. It is, as we say, the one that is closest, the one that is said to protect the common man. Once it is imperiled in any way, then it behoves on all of us as society to show more interest, to help them. We need to assist them also to do their work better. And one of the ways to do that is to ensure that there is a whole lot of whistleblowing within that system. And so any program, any policy, any codicil that is
brought out to ensure that there is no whistleblowing is going to fail. And I think there are young lawyers right now who are interested in saving their profession from disappearing, because if the judiciary continues the way it's going, the respect, the privileged position it enjoys in society will be such that if you just see any lawyer, you just say that lawyer, and that is not what a lot of them want.
I think that's a fine place to anchor it. Ezenwa Nwagwu, a civil rights activist, many thanks for speaking with us on the news at 10. Time for us to take us to our business news studios, where Loretta is standing by to give us a look at what business has been like this weekend.
Welcome now to Business News. We begin with this report that serious sanctions await fraudsters in the Nigerian financial system as the central bank closes in on the challenges of electronic fraud. This concern was the crux of discussion at the third Nigerian Electronic Fraud Forum in Lagos. The CBN's Director of Banking and Payment System, Mr. Dikwa Fatokun, maintained that a new framework is being worked out to address electronic fraud with biometric verification numbers.
The bank noticed that a particular customer is fraudulent or is a criminal. The bank has the right to get out of the contract. And another implication is that if an account is watchlisted when the framework is finally approved, if there is a credit into that account, if every other person is having his credit within 2-3 minutes, but because the account has been watchlisted because of past activities, credit into such accounts may be withheld for a longer period while investigation is carried on to confirm that actually it's a genuine transfer. So all these will assist us, because if you are able to identify, you are able to apprehend, and you are able to prosecute, then we will go a long way in reducing the problem of electronic fraud. And talking of prosecution and apprehension, I said it in the opening address that we are working with the Nigerian Police Force to create a dedicated electronic payment and card crime unit. When that unit becomes fully operational, then we will have achieved a lot in reducing further the stem of electronic fraud.
And the need for the federal government to intensify efforts in creating an enabling industrial environment has again been brought to the fore. An industrialist, Mr. Chime Jude, is advising that the Industrial Training Fund be well implemented, especially for young entrepreneurs. Mr. Jude says one of the best ways the government can enhance capacity building for the youth is through mentoring programs in partnership with manufacturers. Now, the Naira is expected to reverse its losses as traders anticipate improved dollar supply from international money transfer agencies. The local currency was supported this week by a special market intervention sale by the CBN on Friday and the sale of forex to importers of premium motor spirit by international oil companies through the NNPC. At the close of trading on Friday, the Naira appreciated by 0.08% and 0.49% against the dollar and pound to trade at 304 Naira 50 kobo per dollar and 386 Naira 90 kobo to the pound at the interbank market. However, there was no respite in the parallel market as the Naira depreciated against the dollar, pound and euro to trade at 470 Naira, 565 Naira and 505 Naira. And finally, in business news tonight, the Nigerian equities market reversed last week's gain due to cautious trading by investors who liquidated their positions owing to poor earnings results. The all-share index declined 1.10% to close at 27,294.21. Total volume traded increased by 0.5% to 678.71 million shares, valued at 6.87 billion naira, and traded in over 11,000 deals. Market breadth remained negative, with 21 gainers, topped by Caverton against 40 losers, led by Fitson. Banking stocks dominated market activity by volume and value, with FBNH, Access Bank, FCMB and Zenith Bank accounting for 66% of total volume traded during the week. As the release of Q3 earnings draws to a close next week, investor sentiment is expected to favor the resilient companies and sectors. And that's it on business news. It's back to Suleiman for the rest of the news at 10.
Next on the news at 10, Nigeria's Aruna Quadri and Segun Toriola clinched men's doubles title at the IWTF Africa Senior Championships in Morocco. That's on Sports News. Stay with us.